What's good? What's good? Y'all now tuned in to another episode of This or That podcast. I'm your host, Alexander the Great. Today I have another special guest. We got a business coach on today. Her name is, well, I'm actually going to go ahead and let her introduce herself, if you could.
Hello, everyone. I am Timera Bell. I am a business coach and brand strategist, and I'm the founder and owner of Increase Global Enterprises, where we bring visions to reality through graphic design, brand strategy and development, business strategy and development, coaching, and client representation. And thank you for
N-
having me on your show.
Nice, nice. Now, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you for giving me your time. So,
So,
yeah, I'm
yeah,
a big businessman myself. I don't know what happened. I got a little feedback now. Hello?
Can you still hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you now. No feedback. We're good. We're good. So you say you're a business coach. How long have you been doing that?
So I've been a business coach for about 4 or 5 years now.
Okay. And what made you endeavor into being a business coach?
Well, I tend to tell my story. So growing up, my dad owned 7 businesses. He owned dollar stores, trucking companies, cell phone companies, clubs, sound and production companies. So when I turned 15, I started to do his payroll, and he
Okay.
trained me to train and manage at a very young age. So I've been an entrepreneur probably all my adulthood life. I've only worked for someone 9 months of my adulthood life. Other than that, I worked for myself. And after giving advice to people, people would say you need to be a coach because whatever advice I gave, it worked. And so after a certain number of people kept saying that, I was like, okay, let me be a coach.
I mean, yeah, if people telling you that, then you definitely probably need to go ahead and try to take a look into that.
All right.
So, with your entrepreneurship, with your journey within the last 4 or 5 years, what are some obstacles that you've had to overcome?
I would say more so when it comes to obstacles, because obstacles are going to come, it would be staying focused. Staying focused. Because a lot of times we hear now a lot of people are serial entrepreneurs. They do this, they do this, they do this, they do this. But if you really want to build a foundation where you're starting a business for your children, the whole concept is staying focused. So even though I'm gifted in a lot of areas, I had to look at the necessity. So branding is a necessity. And
Hmm.
so that's my focus point. Even though I have other things that I want to do, my focus is building that. And then another thing is all of it's a risk at the
Right.
end of the day. So every level is uncomfortable. So I used to work from my house, then I went into a store, then I went into a bigger store, and I'm looking to go into a bigger store. So
Okay. Nice. Nice. So you say you originally started from your house, and then you start getting some brick and mortar places and things like that.
yes. hmm
Okay. And did you start employing people, or is it just you and your father still, or how's that business going?
Now, okay, so me and my father are not in business together. We're not in business
Hmm.
together. So I started employing people probably about 2 years ago when
Okay.
I really started to expand my vision and my business. Now, a lot of entrepreneurs don't do the business plan. I believe in the business plan. So for me, year 7 in the business plan was the year that I was to go into a storefront. Now, that's a journey there, right? And then
Hmm.
also for the struggling part, my husband and I, we're both entrepreneurs. So I'm not
Okay.
married to somebody that work a job. We've
Okay.
since we've known each other, it's just entrepreneurship. So faith, you gotta hold on to faith, right? And
Right.
so through that, the hiring people is yeah, it's probably the hardest piece. Finding
Is
people
it?
that work the same as me. So yeah.
Right, right. I mean, you probably go through, 20 candidates and you find one good one maybe, huh?
It's tough. It's tough because
Yeah.
everybody's different. Like I think the generation that's maybe early 20s, they're not
Mhm.
good with communication. So,
Okay.
but they're good with tech, but their
Right.
communication is they're like, "Oh, I thought you knew already," right? So, I
Right.
think every generation, depending on who you hire and bring into your team, it's important to do research to know how they communicate because every generation communicates differently.
Gotcha, gotcha. That definitely does make sense because communication is key to any relationship, whether it's business, personal, so yeah, definitely. So with that being said, how do you balance your personal life and your entrepreneurial life since you kind of like make it's your time, your business and your family? How do you balance the two?
Okay, actually glad that you asked that because I'm one of those people. I'm not an excuse maker. My mother kind of raised me a little different, where even if I wanted to quit, I couldn't quit. That wasn't
Okay.
a part of it. So I have a son who the doctors are trying to diagnose as autistic.
Uh,
And I don't agree with that. So it's like, no, we're gonna beat it. And I remember when I went into one of the stores and I was trying to get him in daycare. He had not been in daycare, right? So
mhm.
he finally got in a daycare, but it's in another city. So it's like 30 minutes away. And then
Right.
we got a call from the people the doctors got together. Now this
Okay.
is happening while I'm going into this new store, right?
Wow.
And they're saying, okay, he can start school here, but that's going to be in the afternoon. So are you taking him out of the daycare because it's a different city? And I said, no. I said, he'll be at both. So I would get up, I would have him at the first, at the daycare that early in the morning by 9, right?
Mhm.
I would come
Mhm.
to work at 11:30. I would leave, get back on the road to go get him, take him to the other school, come back to work, leave at about 3:30 to go get my other son, then to
Mm.
go get him. And I did that
Mm.
every single day. So the doctors had told me, he wasn't going to be able to talk. He wasn't going to be able to socialize. He now talks. Socializing is not his issue. My thing was I can put
Beautiful.
in the work. If I'm going to go hard for people, I'm going to go hard for mine.
Yours,
So
yeah.
the balance part is I'm a planner. I tell people I'm not one of those people that work till 4 in the morning. I
Okay.
We close at 6. The latest I'm gonna work
Right.
is 7:30, right? And then I'm
Right.
gonna go home. So I
Okay.
think it's a decision that you have to make because with my dad being an entrepreneur, I believe that he chose entrepreneurship first. So,
Right.
he was out there getting the job done, all of this, but he may have missed the games. He may have did,
Mm.
missed a lot of things. And that's something that
Right.
I said that I would never do. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna put that on the back burner when my children, they're important. So yeah.
Right, right. No, definitely, because that they need that time. And with your father's era, I'm pretty sure it's a much lot different time than what we living in now with all of this technology. So, it
Yeah.
was a lot of times where he had to show up or he wasn't gonna be able to bring home the bread. So hey, shout out to your pops being a hard working man. It sounded like he was out there doing his thing.
Yeah,
Um
for real.
so so I take it that this is something you love doing, like that you have a passion about.
Oh yeah, for sure. I love it. I believe that you should do what you love as long as it's a necessity, right?
Okay.
So
Is
I
it
did
explain
this
that?
for me first. I
Hmm.
did this for me first for years before I turned it into a business.
Okay.
So it was like, you're chasing a dream. You're like, okay, I got to do the back end work too, and not realizing that I'm mastering something to produce something else. So
Right.
that's pretty much what I did. Because I started my business in 2015, but the first time I started a business, I was 19 years old.
Okay, okay, okay. Look at you. Do your thing. Do your thing. So you say you started in 2015. What we in 2024 now.
Yeah.
During the COVID, did it affect your business? Financially, was it any kind of substantial thing that you had to change, or how did you manage during that time?
No, I did not. Okay, so I didn't go full time in my business until last year, right?
Okay,
So
okay.
yeah, I didn't go full time, but I made a living in my business without ever going full time. Now, my husband and I, we own a funeral home. So during
Mm,
COVID, that was it was a very some people didn't take it serious, but when you're married to somebody that embalm bodies, there will be times he got like 16 calls a week.
right.
Yeah,
Wow. So
so we
that's a
were
lot.
dealing with that. And then there were
Mm,
times where he couldn't come home because he didn't know if it was still on him, right? So
mm,
that
okay.
was a really intense journey, for real.
Wow, wow. That's crazy. So you say y'all own a funeral home?
Yes. He owned Golden Gates Burial and Cremation Services. So yeah.
Okay. We don't. I mean, I guess we advertise it, but we definitely, when it's the time, the right time. In the Black community, man, we utilize those a lot more than we'd like to. But how is that a business? Do you help participate in helping him with that sometimes, or you kind of leave that to him? I see you shaking your head.
Oh, I do like we do some of the graphic work. But that's about it. Now, on our journey, we were friends first. So during the process
Mhm.
of being friends before we got married, he's always wanted to do a funeral home. And I would try to give my input and he was like, "You don't know what you're talking about because you're not in the industry." And I would
Right.
tell him business is a system, it doesn't matter the industry. So
Right.
after time number 2, when he got to number 3, he included me and it was very smooth. I mean, it was so
Okay.
smooth. So yeah.
Okay.
Um but he loves it. I mean, but it's the families for me. The way he consults the families and he's there for them. He's very passionate about what he do. So yeah.
Right. You have to be in that field, man. I mean, that takes on a lot. I mean, I don't know if I can deal with that. So shout out to him for even being that guy,
Yeah.
doing that.
Oh yeah.
So what are some new things you got going on just currently in the year 2024? What's some new things you got coming up?
Well, I'm definitely getting out of the box because I'm used to working behind the scenes. I always tell people I didn't hear a client's voice until last year. Before then, they would just send me messages and I would get the job done for them. So,
Okay.
since last year, I'm actually speaking to people. I tend to work behind the scenes. So now it's like I'm coming in the forefront. I plan to do several podcasts, but also here in my city, I'm starting my talk show that's actually going to be live for the community. So the community
Okay.
will actually be able to come into the building, sit amongst it, and then I'm gonna have a lot of my clients a part of that talk show as well. And then
Nice.
my also my goal is to brand and coach as many people as I can to their 6 figures.
Nice, nice. To that 6 figures. That's the goal. That's what I love to hear. That there, financial stability. Get everybody
Right.
stable. I mean, we all need that, man, and that's real big, man. To even try to put yourself in a position to try to help people because it's hard to get people to listen a lot. Like, and with that being said, with your clients, do you have some people that like kind of don't believe in what you got going on? Like, I'm pretty sure. What's your turnover? I should say. Like, do you have a lot of people back out once they first start, or
No, I don't. One of the
good?
reasons why is it's more so of the wisdom that I have. My mother has over 34 years of experience in sales. There's nothing that she has told me that don't work. So she's
Right,
one of our sales coaches. And then the way my dad helps me set up everything. So I'm blessed to have that. I really am.
right.
I'm blessed to have that. So no, and we work with people. Like we're a
Mhm.
business. So I'm not trying to be one of those coaches that, oh, I'm trying to take your money. Our objective is for you to make your money back that you invested with us and then make more
Right.
back. So
Okay.
that's
Okay.
one of our objectives.
Okay. And like you said, a business is kind of a system. So you kind of help people with any kind of industry that they in.
Yeah, so we help companies in the medical field, coaches, it don't matter. You can have a mechanic company, right? We
Okay.
can help you. Like, cause that's the thing about the system of business is it
Hmm.
doesn't change. But I think in our culture, a lot of times we try to change stuff and we try to say, well, I'm not going to do what everybody else is doing. And you're
Right.
missing the point of the fact that if you stick to the system, you have a better chance of actually becoming successful. Like you really can make 6 figures in less than 365 days. It's how you execute your business. And the thing is, your business doesn't have to necessarily be intact 100% because you're
Right.
always growing. But it's
Okay.
how you represent and how you present and how you execute. A lot of people, their biggest problem is consistency. They're
Yeah.
not consistent. If they were
I can
just
see that.
if they just could be consistent and also understand their value. Because if you don't know your value, right,
Yeah.
it changes everything. Like, how valuable are you? So I have clients that pay me from, I mean, we got departments. So we got departments
Mhm.
that's just graphics. You might just pay $50 for a flyer. But then it goes up. We got several different departments in the branding where you might pay as low as 5 grand. You could pay as much as 30 grand, right?
Okay.
But our
Hmm.
objective is serving everybody, including the biggest consumer, which is what? The government. All right. So
Okay.
so it
Okay.
goes up, but you have to know your value. I think that's the biggest thing. If I can get my clients to understand their value, then they walk different, they talk different, they present different, they'll make more money.
Okay. Okay. Nice. Nice. And is this like is it a certain like time frame that you work with your people as coaches? Like, do you have like a certain like set time and things like that? How do you kind of?
Yeah, so it depends on the client, of course, but we have different programs. So we do the masterminds, the master classes, the boot camps, all those different things. So some people might come in, they might come in just for a day, take 8 hours of our time, and then they leave. Right? Some
Okay.
people, the longest is probably about 9 months, and that one usually is to get you ready for 6 figures or get you to 6 figures.
Okay, okay. So the longer you basically work with somebody, the quicker, I mean, the more we can get some results happening for you is what I kind of take that for.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay, okay, and when you do, like, these, when you get your clients and things like that, do you do, like, Zoom meetings? Is it in person? Like, how do people connect with you on that? Like, you got
So
a
I
website?
love the virtual world, right? I love
Uh-huh.
so we have some people that come in the store, and then we have others that are on Zoom because we service anybody around the globe.
Right, right.
So if you got a business, we can serve you. And so we use Zoom for a lot of them. I know that some people they're willing to come though. Like I have a
Mm,
client in California. She's preparing to come here because I'm in Georgia. So she's preparing to come here because she's like, I
okay.
want to meet you. You're my coach, but I finally want to meet you. So yeah.
Nice, nice. And it's building good relationships too, I figure as well, man. That's what the biggest thing is, I think, in business.
Yeah, for
If I'm
sure.
wrong, yeah, yeah, it's building those good relationships. As an entrepreneur, I know it gets tough sometimes on people, man. You know, depression is real. Everybody going through a lot of things. Has there ever been any times where you felt like, hey, this ain't where it's at, it's not working, or have you just always said, I'm gonna keep pushing because this is what I want to do?
Um, for the most part, I've always said I'm gonna keep pushing, and the reason why I stand 6'3", so I'm real tall, right?
Oh,
And
okay, you my height.
yeah. So
Okay.
so I played basketball. I
Nice.
played in high school, I played on the collegiate level, but when I first started, I didn't know how to play, right? I didn't want to
Right.
play, number one. I didn't want to
Okay.
play. But because I'm tall, everybody was like, you need to play. I never thought about playing, so I didn't know how to play. So the first time I shot a basket was in the wrong basket, right? And so yeah, so I always wanted to quit, and my mother was like, "You're not gonna quit." So there were a
Right.
lot of laughs in my beginning stages. So people would always laugh at me, right? Because you don't know
Mm,
what you're doing, and I didn't know
right.
what I was doing. But because I have a mother who was like, "You're not gonna quit, keep going," I continued to see the growth. So by the time I became a senior in high school, there were schools that wanted to recruit me, right? But I
Nice.
didn't plan to play college basketball because I was like, this ain't me, right? And
Mhm.
I ended up playing for Fort Valley State University because the coach saw me and he was like, "You need to play," and I was like, "I'm not playing basketball, right?" But I went
Okay.
to the tryout and he won. So then I did that. And when I got on the collegiate level, we worked out 5 times a day, starting at 5 o'clock in the morning, ending at 1 a.m. in the morning. So
Nice.
still having to go to class. And I'm like, why are we
Mm,
doing all this? Why are we running the stadium? Why are we running the football
right.
player? Why are we doing this? This don't make sense. When are we gonna put a basketball in our hand? So he focused so much on running, and it was so painful. I'm talking about the
Mhm,
tears, wanting to quit, but my mother, you're not gonna quit, right?
mhm,
So I'm
mhm.
pressing through all this pain. And I'm like, this don't make sense. You got to
Right.
make it make sense. And he never would. He would never explain himself. So we're doing all of this. But then when it's time to play, that's the easy part. It was nothing
Mhm.
for us to become an undefeated championship team. It was nothing for us
Right.
to win because we put in all that work. So with that kind of experience, it's like when the hard times come, oh, we're going to keep going though. We're going to keep going
Right.
because at the end of the day, the only thing that's the result is a win. That's it.
Right.
So I feel like I
Right.
was taught to win.
That's what's up. It sounds like you was, man, and with your mom, and your pop sounds like you got a great support system, man. Can you speak on how having a good support system also helps you kinda push and stay, like,
Oh,
afloat or, on the course?
For sure. And one of the things I always say is my parents were not married because I have to throw that in there, right? Because
Yeah.
sometimes when you hear that, you're thinking, okay, two-parent home, all this. I
Right.
never wanted my parents to be married. As a matter of fact, I like 4 parents. Okay, that was just me, right? And I'm grateful because on one side I saw my mom, who's very humble, live a basic life. On my dad's side, I ain't never seen him have less than 5 cars, right? So
Mhm.
I got to decide what I wanted. I wanted a little of my mom, I wanted a little of my dad, and then you got me. So because I was able to see that, it was able to help me. Now my dad's a little different. My dad, he lost both his parents before he was 10. So I had to realize that he had to learn how to be a father, right?
Mhm.
But because of the wisdom that I have, I met my dad where he was. So I realized that my
Right.
dad, if I wanted a conversation with him, I had to talk business. So that's what I
Mhm.
decided to do because I
Nice.
wanted that relationship. I think a lot of times you got to observe people and realize everything they do is coming from a place. There's a root. If you pay attention, if you observe, then you make a decision. How are you going to come? Like I
Mhm.
have other siblings, so my siblings on my dad's side is like, no, he's supposed to take the effort. No, not necessarily because you don't know his battle. You don't know what he deals with. And I had enough wisdom to know that. So it was like, I'm gonna meet you where you at. So
So,
I remember playing college basketball. I had a conversation with my brother because he played too. And he was like, Dad always came to your games, but he didn't come to my games. And I said, Did you ever tell him? And he said,
mm,
That wasn't my responsibility. Well, you didn't want him at your games. I said, I told him every game. See,
mhm,
but I knew if I wanted him at that game, I had to tell him. And
right.
sometimes we feel like, okay, we don't have to do that. But I believe that I'm a creator of the world that I live in. So
Nice.
I have to do whatever I need to do to create the world that I want. And so I was willing to do that.
Hey, I love it. I love the way you think. That's real nice. I mean, yeah, yeah. I mean, but as a kid, sometimes you might feel like, hey, it's not my responsibility. But like you said, hey, I want my daddy there, so I'm gonna let him know, and he not gonna let me down. So that's
Yeah.
good, man. Shout out to your pop. Shout out to your pop. So where are you from? Where you located? Like your area and stuff?
Okay, so I'm from Albany. So I'm from Georgia. Georgia.
Okay.
So we're in
Mhm.
Georgia. We're in the middle Georgia area. So yeah.
Nice, nice. Okay, so it's a lot of black folks down in Georgia, I
A
heard.
lot of black folks.
Yeah, I haven't been. I'm trying to get down there, man. I got a
Oh
bunch of peoples
wow.
down there. Yeah, I got some friends and stuff down there in Georgia, down in Atlanta area. I just want to do a quick segment break, man. Y'all now listening to this or that podcast, man. Shout out to Spotify partnership, man. We got Miss Timera on here, Miss Bell, business coach, business extraordinaire, entrepreneur, whatever you want to call her, out here giving that game. Did you have any tips that you could give out besides them, signing up, getting the course, just for this or that podcast, just exclusively for us? Anybody trying to like start in an endeavor, a business, or start creating an LLC, or anywhere you want to start them at.
I would definitely say write your vision down. As tedious as the business plan is, do your business plan. Because if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. So do that so you can expand the vision even more. But don't go into entrepreneurship thinking that it's easier than having a job, because it's not.
Yeah,
Entrepreneurship is a tough journey. It's a journey. And so it's progression. You will receive what you are ready for. So if you go in saying I'm gonna be a millionaire, you got to be ready to make millions. If you're not ready to make millions, then you're not gonna make millions. Also go in willing to learn, observe, and do not go in thinking that it's all wins, because it's not. So you don't feel some kind of way or feel less than if you feel like giving up. That is the process of entrepreneurship. It's who that if you can endure to the end, you're gonna prosper. So I would definitely say that to you. And I would also say that have people in your circle that talk business. Don't be the smartest person in your circle. Get in a
nice. Yeah,
circle where you're like, what y'all talking about? Because that's
right.
what's going to advance you as an entrepreneur, but it's also going to advance you in life. So that's what I would
Nice.
say.
That's some great advice. Great advice. I appreciate that. And that being the smartest person in the room is great advice, because if you're the smartest person in the room, then how you gonna learn anything else? You're gonna kind of be stagnant where you are. We got a few minutes left, man. I like to get into the segue session of this or that podcast. I go through and ask you a couple quick questions. I'm gonna throw in a couple more extra for you, and I'm gonna take some out because I usually do it from where I'm at, Kansas City, Missouri. So I do some barbecue places. I don't know if you've ever been here, but if you haven't, come check us out.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So the first one I like to usually get into, and I ask everybody this first one, which one would you rather have? And this is probably a good one for you since you are entrepreneur. Which one would you rather have, love or money?
Oh, that's love or money?
Hmm. And love is that real love, that unconditional, not that love, like love, God's love, or all the money in the world.
I definitely take love. I definitely take love over money. Money
That's
go
what's up.
away.
That's what's up.
Like I mean,
Yeah.
it's like, you know, at the end of the day, it ain't about material things. That's the only reason you need money for.
Right, right, right.
So
Love
definitely
can
love.
love love can get you in places that money can't too. So, would you rather have too much sleep or very little sleep?
Probably very little sleep.
It sounds like how you be grinding
Like
out
too
there.
much sleep, I can't stay in my bed a long time. Like I be like, I gotta go. Cause I believe that we gonna do that later when we leave. So
Hmm, hmm.
yeah. So too little sleep.
Definitely. Sleep when you die. I get you. I get you.
Yeah.
Uh, my favorite one, because it's a wild one. Which one would you rather have, a unicorn or a dragon?
A dragon.
Everybody look at unicorn like it's something weird. Like, you got
Like,
when
I
I
ain't
say
knocking it, but it just seemed like
yeah.
a dragon has more power or something.
Well, a dragon can just fly and breathe fire. A unicorn is magical. It probably can fly, breathe fire, turn, like get you gifts, wishes. It's like a genie, you know? That's how I look at a unicorn. Like it's just a magical creature. A
You're right,
dragon,
you're right.
yeah.
You're
But you
right.
pick dragon, so you gotta keep
I
it.
know.
Okay. All right. Would you rather have old or new?
Old or new what?
Like anything, like, would you rather have something that you've been having for years that you cherish, or would you rather get the new stuff all the time? You know, like I'd rather have my favorite toy that I've been having forever, or I'd rather get new toys. Not necessarily
I
toys,
would
but
say new.
you would rather have something new than old.
I mean, because old eventually get boring.
I mean, it depends. You got some people that have been holding on to things forever. That's like a sacred shrine or monument to them. You know,
But the
so
thing is, if you holding on to it, like I don't hold on to the past.
okay,
So I
okay,
mean, the future is new. It's something that we don't know. So it's
right,
exciting. So new is
yeah,
exciting. So yeah,
okay. Some people don't like surprises though, so you know, so uh, music festival or art festival.
music,
Okay, okay. Onion rings or French fries?
onion rings,
Okay, okay. I'm gonna throw this new one in for you. Sole proprietor or LLC?
LLC.
Okay, yeah. I'm an LLC owner too, so definitely LLC. I got a few more. Um, Pirates or ninjas?
Oh my gosh,
Everybody
pirates,
be on that.
pirates.
Pirates. Okay, you sure? Sound like you want
Yeah,
to. Okay. And then
pirates.
this the last one I usually ask. Would you rather have a yacht or a jet ski?
Ooh, a yacht for me.
A yacht.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah. Well, that's my this or that questions. We got a few more minutes, man. Any kind of shout outs to anybody you want to say hi to, bye to, any other last words you want to get out before we do go?
Awesome. Well, I just want to definitely shout out my clients who are upcoming coaches, upcoming entrepreneurs, those that are entrepreneurs and coaches, and also shout outs to you.
Thank
Shout outs to my children, my husband, my family, and success upon everybody.
definitely, man. Definitely successful on everybody. Is there a way that people can contact you if they, hey, listen to this, like, hey, I might want to call her, see if try to get into some coaching or you know, trying to get some advice from you. Any way that they can reach out to you?
Yeah, on social media platforms, Timera L Bell, Timera L Bell, and then our website is increaseglobal.net.
That's what's up, Miss Bell. Hey, well, I do thank you so much for allowing me your time to come on the episode of this or that podcast. You've been a great guest, great conversation, good information, and maybe we could do it again sometime. You know?
Awesome. Thank you.
No, thank you. Hey, everybody, thank y'all again for tuning in to another episode of this or that podcast. As we always say, keep God first, man. Stay safe and blessed out there, and we gonna get to y'all next week. See y'all later. Stay safe.